There are two types of people in this world, those who wait for things to happen and those who make it happen.
Here at the Moose Lounge Podcast, that's who we like to have on. The ones who are sick of the 9 to 5 and want to do what they love and feel alive.
We like to find out what they do, how they did it, and what they're doing to keep it going and stay relevant.
Don't think we're just some boring, predictable interview podcast. We do so while drinking America's only native spirit, bourbon.
So sit back,
grab a glass,
and enjoy
while you listen to us interview individuals who have turned passions into careers. Available bi-weekly everywhere you get your podcast.
Booyah.
Are you tired of conversations being guided by the loudest voices in the room? Are you tired of people being nice because they're afraid of the consequences if they're actually honest? Are you tired of people that are so afraid of saying what is actually going on that they completely neglect the truth? Well, if that's the case, and you want to hear something that makes you go, you know, that's exactly what I was thinking, but I'm afraid to say it, come check out I Had to Say It, the podcast. Available wherever you get your podcasts fix or at ihadtosayitpodcast.com.
You know, backdoor that. You know, he really likes to make that happen.
It's kind of ironic because I've been told that's how babies are not made, is by backdooring things.
Oh, really? Huh.
Character and merit matter.
Yep.
They do. They should. That should be the focus. And being kind.
I got Happy Jack or Joy Jack.
Ooh.
I like Joy Jack. I would play Joy Jack.
I might go play Joy Jack right after the show.
You're about to listen to Whiskey Hell Podcast, a show centered on recent news, excellent craft beer, and absolute debauchery. While the guys are getting ready, you can reach them on Twitter at whiskey_hell. You can also go to the whiskeyhellpod.com or email them at whiskeyhellpod@gmail.com. At the end, be sure to drop them a review as a thank you for the content. Looks like they're ready. Enjoy the show. And listener discretion is advised.
Saturday, August 5th, 7:22 in the evening. This is Whiskey Hell Podcast, your narrative buster. The show where Fitz and I take the narratives from the week, make fun of them, put them into a nice, tight little package so that you can unwrap it with your ears later. How was your week, Fitz?
Wow, that was a really poetic way to start the show. That was nice imagery. I like that.
I'm trying some different stuff. I still haven't done the same thing twice.
No, you haven't. I'm impressed. How am I? I'm great. I had a great week.
Good.
Had some adventures. I got my official job offer, so that always feels good. Yep, got that signed and dated, and X on the mark and all that. So I'm feeling good. Life is good. We have some, as usual, I know this is going to surprise everybody, but we have some crazy shit going on out in the world. And I like the way you put it in the intro there, that we're busting the narratives. Remember that show Mythbusters?
Yes.
We could change the name of this show to Narrative Busters. And I want to be Jamie because I want the giant mustache. I want the walrus fucking mustache.
Dude definitely had one of the king looks that there has been for a celebrity. Yeah, no, he killed it. I always love that show. And it was, based on science, so that's just fun. But anyway, yeah, it's been a crazy week, and we're ready to hit it. Let's do this shit. All right. What beer are you starting with?
Oh yeah, beer. I was looking at the dock going, hey, where are we going to start? Okay. So this beer that I just popped open is called Goldilocks. And it is from, hold on, you know what? I'm being so unprofessional right now. I have to actually pour my beer out so that I can turn the can. I can tilt it into the light so I can actually read where it's from. Okay.
Okay, I've got the same problem with mine tonight. It's very dark. It's very hard to see what's written on the can. It blends in.
All right. So this is a brewery I've never heard of. It's called Barsidius.
Okay.
Barsideous. Barsidius. I guess like I don't know. I don't know what it's like. Anyway, this beer is called Goldilocks. It is a Belgian style strong ale with orange peel. And I just thought it sounded very summery, very refreshing. A little bit of a gear change for me. I've been doing a lot of dark stuff lately, and tonight I'm going with a couple of lighter colored beers. This is a I didn't mean colored, but you know what I meant.
I did.
Yeah, it's a blonde beer. That's all I'm gonna say. This is an 8%er, so respectable as far as a Belgian strong. It smells, the first smell that hits my nose is like a orange zest. There's like almost like a bitterness in there. So we'll see what it tastes like.
All right. So Goldilocks, and that's by Strange Fellows Brewing.
Oh, Strange Fellows.
Yeah, do I have the right one?
Hold on, I can't see your screen. I was on my own screen.
Oh, okay.
Nope, that is not it.
Damn it.
Nope. Barsidius.
Barsidius.
Yeah, BAR.
Okay.
SIDEOUS. I've never heard of these guys. I don't know where they're from. And it's one of those cans that just doesn't give you much.
You know what's funny is that the beer that I brought up was the exact same style.
Yeah, it is. Yep, there you got it. These guys are from Lebanon, Oregon, which is about 45 minutes north of me. So that's why I've never heard of them before. It's a small little outfit in a small little town. Anyway, yeah, you got it. So okay, not a bad beer. Definitely got the orange zest in there, the orange peel. Definitely a solid Belgian blonde. Not too boozy, but there's something going on in here that I don't want to say it's hold on, ladies. I don't want to say it's like cardamom, but it's there's a spice in here that doesn't quite seem to fit. What's the other one that's not
you
cardamom?
Got nutmeg, you've got cinnamon, you've got
it starts with a C.
For that type of beer, I would expect some pepper also.
Yeah, okay. There's a little bit of pepper. Yeah, not my favorite beer I've ever had. I'm not. I can't even really say that I would take this one out on a second date. I don't even. I think we're just gonna go to dinner, and then I'm gonna drop her off at home. There's no. We're not going any further than that.
You're gonna swipe left. Is it swipe left or swipe right?
I don't know. I think it's actually I don't know. I've never been on a dating app. It's whichever one don't want. But I will say this: it's a solid beer, and I'm not unhappy with it, and I think there's probably someone out there who is going to go apeshit over this beer, or who does go apeshit over this beer, really likes it. It's just not. It's just not what I guess what I was hoping for tonight. I was hoping for something maybe with a little more pizzazz. Anyway, so that's where we're at, and I'm still trying to think of that spice that I'm. Oh, go ahead. What are you drinking? And I will effort to find what I'm trying to think of.
So I am actually drinking, and I'm going to send you a picture of this because it's really important that you see it.
Okay.
Because you're going to confirm for me how Guinness used to be. And I guess it kind of still is. But my judgment here is, were they shooting for a Guinness or not? My interpretation of this brewery, which is a fantastic brewery, and I'm so excited that we're starting to get them in the States. It's BrewDog.
Oh yeah, great.
Yeah, and this is actually brewed
Coriander.
in Ohio. Coriander.
That's
Okay.
that's what I'm getting. Coriander.
Yes. So
Good
is
God.
it
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean. Yeah.
No, that's okay. I want to come back to yours because I want to know what the mouthfeel is like on that, because it's always, for me, especially now that I know that there's coriander in it, it's going to be a dry mouthfeel. But I'm
Oh
yeah.
God. Oh, you just got my juices percolating right there with that. Yes, I am. Yes, we will come back. Let's table mine. We'll circle back to it. Oh
All right.
yeah, okay. So I just got the pictures. Yes, that is what a Guinness is supposed to look like. It's
Okay.
what it's supposed to do. It looks like the bubbles are going down, not up. Yes, that's beautiful.
Okay. So, Jet Black Heart. Now, this is one of the beers the listeners picked out. There were two. I put them out there for everybody to go ahead and take a swing at. You guys just go ahead and you call it. There were 4 different beers: a rice lager, a barley wine, which I'm going to have next, this beer, and then there's an imperial stout that didn't make the cut. So it was actually pretty close as far as what the voting was. So like for Jet Black Heart, it was the first one, 34.8% of the vote. And that was with 23 votes. So thanks everybody for chiming in. And then the Saddle Up by Pipeworks was the 30.4. So I've got the Jet Black Heart here first.
That is really cool that not only that everybody jumped in and voted, there was actually a little bit of conversation going on around it too.
Yeah. Yep.
So that was cool, but I think, and not to steal your thunder, but I think McShane and I are going to start doing this a bit more often. So this does two things. To me, this does two things. One, it encourages people to, we want to be people pleasers, right? We want to review beers that you want to hear about. Number two, I think it's going to force people to go out and research. Like all 4 of those beers, I actually went out and looked all of them up. Right. I didn't vote because I'm not a listener, but
Sure.
I went and looked them all up because I wanted to see what you were drinking, what the choices were. So if that's all this does, I think it's going to be really good for the show, because people need to get out and explore more as far as beer goes. I know we have our solid listeners out there that just they're with us. They try new stuff, but I think some of y'all are a little bit. What am I, from Texas? I just used y'all. But some of you are not getting out there and exploring, and I'm telling you right now, life is too short. So anyway, I'm sorry. I have a lot of words. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I appreciate your words. I hate this fucking beer.
Shit. We both started off with with a bummer.
So there's a beer that I have never had again after having it in a can and then having it at the brewery, and it's Ninkasi's. It's their vanilla porter.
Oh, the Otis
stout. Yes, yeah. Oatis.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh wait. Yeah. Yep.
And it is incredibly chemically. Okay, and I mean it is like, it's a vanilla extract.
It's repulsive. It's repulsive. Yeah. I won't drink it.
Now this beer is a nitro. Okay, it's supposed to be a nitro, and it is a nitro. It has all the same features of a nitro. So they nailed that. The mouthfeel is a nitro. It's creamy, luscious, kind of it has this funky, put your tongue in my glass kind of a feel to it. And if you're into that, I'm just going to try that. No, it's still not any better. All I can taste is the nitro. I'm so glad I didn't get a 4-pack of this, and I just want our listeners to know I'm not holding it against you at all because I bought it. This is absolutely shocking for a BrewDog beer to be this just poorly done.
I wonder what got lost in translation there, because again, Brewdog is a great brewery.
Oh, it's a phenomenal brewery.
Yeah, they do it right over there. So I wonder what got lost there for you. I don't know. And here's a really amazing lesson here for everybody out there is, that McShane's beer, my beer, both of those beers are probably amazing beers. They were brewed exactly the way the brewer wanted them to come out.
Yep.
We are the problem. We just don't like them. It just doesn't mix with what we wanted, with what so it's our problem.
I don't know about that.
I mean, honestly though, you and I are, I wouldn't say we're
beer snobs.
No, we're not, because we will try anything.
We totally will, but we'll also give you our opinion on it.
Right. And we've had Bud Light, and we've had Heineken, and we've had, it's not like we exclusively have only done craft brews.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, I think there's probably someone out there who loves that beer that you're drinking, and someone loves mine. Do. Yeah.
I mean, they would have to. I mean, if they wouldn't be making those beers unless they had people who really wanted it. Right. They've tested this stuff, so.
I think it's like cilantro, right? I mean, some people, you say the word cilantro and it's like, I can't get enough of it, which is me. And then other people out there, my wife, she hates it. She hates it. And that's been proven to be like there's a genetic connection there. So I just think genetically, I do not identify with this beer. And that,
so it's interesting though. It's interesting though, because they have a ton. They have like 5 different breweries, and they've taken over Ohio. It looks like, and I had no idea they went this hard in Ohio. That's really nice to see. I will tell you this: this is not a 903 beer.
Okay, all right.
It's not that bad. Okay, it's not that bad.
No, it's not. I mean, same here. I will definitely try another beer by these guys, by Barcidius. Because 903, I mean, you had a couple of, you had like 3 or 4 really just over the top beers from them, and I decided to come in with that Fragile Like a Bomb or whatever it was, and I've sworn them off too. I won't get another 903. I won't do it.
Anyway, we don't have to carry on about 903 and how much they suck, but I'm not feeling this one. It's not the kind of beer that's going to warm up. It's a one-trick pony. It's an oatmeal stout. It should be dry. It should be rich, and I think it's the nitro that jacks it up. I'd love to have this beer just on draft with no nitro. I think that would be interesting. So I wonder if that's a difference.
I would wonder that too. Yeah, for sure. Sometimes nitro can just smooth something out just too much. You need a little character in there. You need something to hold you up.
Yeah.
You asked me about the mouthfeel of my beer. Now I personally have never performed fellatio on a man. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. But
Fitz reporting. All right.
I know people who have. And there's I would imagine that there's some penises that are really fun to give head to. And then I would imagine also that there's others where you're like, I don't know if I'm going to actually stick that in my mouth. And if I do, I'm not going to have any fun at it. So the mouthfeel I'm getting from this is in the second camp. Okay. This is thin. It's stringy, if that makes sense.
Yep.
I don't like the smell of it. And it doesn't taste good. So that's the mouthfeel I'm getting. It's
like a dry blowjob.
And it's dry. Yeah. And it's dry. Like I'm having dry socket. I just went to the dentist, and then, someone's sticking their thing in my face. And I mean, fine. You want a dry one? Take a dry one. I swore I wasn't going to go sexual on this thing, but here we are.
Yeah, well, sex isn't always amazing. Sometimes it's not even good.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's still sex, and you're going to get the ABV out of it, right?
Yeah,
Just
right.
like
No,
I've got mine's a 7, so I'm gonna get a 7 out of it. And
I'm getting a little bit of buzz here.
Yeah.
I have had some amazing comments, by the way, this week about the moist is for cake and steak, not for patty cake.
Yes.
I thank you all for just appreciating me and my quirkiness and my how bizarre my brain works sometimes. But I really have had some very funny conversations with, and they're all female listeners. They're like, I'm using this. We're putting it on a shirt. I mean, I think you said that we're going to put on a shirt. But now I think if we made that shirt, I think we have some people out there that would actually buy it. So anyway, I just thank you so much, ladies. And you know who you are. We've had conversations this week. Thanks for reaching out and supporting my absurdities. It's because that just makes the show fun. So,
oh boy, I like how we always start off the show on a fun note. I think that's important.
Well, we have to because the rest of the world sucks. Oh, dude, I had the coolest 30-second conversation with an old guy yesterday. Okay. I'm going to lay this out for you real quick. I know Hefe's probably going to pop in, but so in for celebration of my new job, and we have a friend of ours who also got a new job on the same day. She got her offer letter the exact same day I did. So we all decided to go out to the coast, and we went to Depot Bay because there's rumors that there's a pod of like 50 whales out there. We didn't see any whales, but still it was the most god-awful, beautiful day out there. 68 degrees, no wind. I mean, all the pretty people were out, at least the ones that are in Oregon. It was just a beautiful day. It's one of those days where when the hostess comes up and is like, do you want to sit inside or outside? It's not even a question. She doesn't even ask it. She knows you want to sit outside. Anyway, my puppy is other dog aggressive. He just hates other dogs. So the ladies went into a gift shop. I was outside sitting on a bench holding my dog because everybody brought their dogs out too. And just keeping control of my little guy. And this old man comes up and he kind of is pointing to me, and I'm like, "What? Why are you pointing at me, dude?" And he's like, "Hey, my jacket. I left my jacket behind that bench. Is it safe to get it? Is your dog okay?" And I'm like, "Oh God, yeah." So my dog loves people. He just hates other dogs. And so the old guy's kind of laughing. He's laughing. He bends over and he picks up his jacket from behind the bench, and he just looks at me square face and he goes, "That's okay because I hate other people, but I love dogs. So the universe is in balance." And then he just turned around and walked away. I was like, holy shit, dude. That was awesome. I love you. So whoever you are, to the old guy who left his jacket behind a bench, that was awesome. And same, bro. Same.
We are to that point though, aren't we?
God, yes.
You just have to look around and just think, wow, what seriously. This is how you're acting. This is what you're doing. We've got some news that we're going to get to about how people act and things that are being talked about instead of really important things. So we're going to get to that too. But we want to go ahead and point out a couple of folks because we have not put anybody into the hall for quite some time.
Yes, good.
Hall of Champions, Bold Talk by Joe. Thank you for all of your support.
Finally.
Yes, we've been waiting to get to this. I apologize for us not being able to get to that. But Joe,
same. Yeah.
Joe, thank you so much. Your content is wonderful. You guys can follow his podcast. It's Bold Talk by Joe. His Twitter is @BoldTalkByJoe, and his YouTube is exactly the same. You can find him on Spotify also. I can't tell you enough how hard this guy works. He's a thinker. He's a critical thinker, which is very, very different from a lot of the folks that we run into these days. And I just appreciate the hell out of him. So I wanted to go ahead and make sure he was covered for this week.
Agreed. We do have a Hefe sighting, but I want to say one last thing about Joe too. What a perfect title for his podcast because he's not afraid to say the bold things.
No.
I say ridiculous things on the show. Every once in a while, I say something that could or could not be construed as controversial, but every single show, Joe gets out there and just fucking puts his giant balls out in the wind, and he's like, "Here, look at him, because I don't care. I'm gonna say what's on my mind," and I respect that a ton. So yeah, all of our respect, all of our love. You're awesome, dude. Thank you for the support of our show. I hope we reciprocate enough. You just keep killing it, man. You're doing amazing work out there. Hardest working dude out there. So anyway, Hefe,
What's
what
up?
the hell? What's up, man? How are you?
Oh, living the dream. How you guys doing?
Same. Living the dream, dude. Living the dream.
All right. We'll see you guys later.
All right, later. Have a good night.
FA reporting. All right.
Hey,
Well,
go ahead.
Well, no, I was just gonna say while Hefe's here, Fitz, do you want to go ahead and induct our second person?
Yeah, I do. And I, for whatever reason, I was sort of missing this person on Twitter. And lately, I think what it was is she followed me. I think her account is pretty closed, pretty private. But she finally started following me, so I started seeing a lot of her posts. And she and I have had a couple of really good, I won't say conversations. It's just I'll leave a comment here, she'll leave a comment there. She's intelligent, she's like-minded. I think we even mentioned her on the show last week for a couple of comments that she left.
Yep.
But Calliope is also jumping in. She is a huge supporter of not only our show, but also just being somebody who, every time I go on Twitter now, she's commenting on something we posted, or she's putting out some of her own content, which I love. She's got things going on. We think she's a nurse. We don't know, but and so I think she has.
I think she's a PA.
Okay, all right. So I think she's got some downtime, in between patients or whatever, and so she just always putting stuff out. Anyway, really appreciate you, Calliope, and yeah, you are also our second inductee into our Hall of Champions this week, because we haven't done any for a while. We're doing 2 this week, and it just feels really good. So
it totally does. So with that, since she's going to be the medical advisor for the show, Hefe, do you have any questions for her? Any weird rashes? Anything that's popped up? You looking for maybe a little more stamina in some area? You want to kick something out to her, or anything for her?
I always wondered how babies are made.
Okay, that's good.
Yes,
that's good.
Hard hitting questions that's our specialty here on the show, and Hefe really likes to backdoor that. He really likes to make that happen.
So, kind of ironic, because I've been told that's how babies are not made, is by backdooring things.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was about to make a really bad joke, and I'm not going to do it. Because it's
just not.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not, because it's going to make it. You're going to have to edit it, McShane, and you already edited out like half of what I said last week, so I'm going to just keep that one to myself.
All right, you probably just saved me a lot of time. Thank you.
Exactly. You're welcome.
Hefe.
Shit.
So Hefe, yesterday, you made it very, very clear that we needed to do a shout out for Dennis Turrasi, and was it 40,000 points that she scored in a game?
No. 10,000. 10,000 per career.
Her career.
Oh,
She scored
right.
40 or 40 something in that clinching game to go over 10,000. I'm sorry.
And that's that.
If you, oh my God, you both have to do this. Not right now if you don't want to, but if you put in Diana Taurasi and click on the first one that comes up, Google has it rains like 10K and a bunch of confetti. There you go. There it is.
Wow. This is the worst.
God damn it. I'm trying to see how many games that took her.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and take a look here. I'm sure we've got some stats here.
Well, she's averaging 18.6 per career. I know that off the top of my head.
Yep.
Wow.
421 games.
421 games. Okay.
How much is she averaging for a career? Because if I got it right, I'm going to go play the lottery.
19.1, so you were just
Ooh.
barely off. You were really close.
Wow.
And that is pretty awesome that she's hit that.
I'm not. We are not here to disparage the accomplishment because she's the first WNBA player to do it.
Well, I won an MVP in flag football. Remember that? That was pretty cool.
You did. Yep, and I did too.
And I thanked you guys at my press conference.
I think we were. Also.
Yeah, I didn't. I was an asshole. I didn't thank anybody. I was like, no, this was all me. I don't have a great team around me. I just did it all myself. And so thanks for this plastic trophy.
I think I got one when I played with Red Roosters or Cox. What was it called?
Yeah,
with
Roosters.
With the two criminals, the guys who went to jail for felonies or something.
Yeah,
I got done playing.
Yeah, one of those guys was really fast. Which one was really fast?
I don't know.
Wasn't there one of them? I just remember I always covered him, and he was faster than me.
I don't
on the
remember.
Rooster or on Bone?
Oh, maybe it was on Boneheads. You're right. Maybe it was on Boneheads.
Boneheads. Yeah, that was
Julian. He had a girl's name. I'm sorry, a female's name. It was like Julian or Monica or something, but he was a guy and he was really fast.
We had a Dave and a Shannon.
Shannon, that's who it was. Yeah. Shannon. I knew it was a girl's name.
Steve, how did you not pick that out?
Well, I was trying to think about. Well, you said really fast, and he wasn't super quick. He was.
He wasn't quick.
He couldn't do anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No. I knew what pattern he was going to run. Every single time he just did a fly.
Yeah.
Right? Every fucking time. He couldn't cut worth shit.
Yeah.
But it was always like, hey, Fitz, you're on him. And I'm like, God damn it. All right. And so I would just back up like 15 yards so I could, give some cushion. But yeah, he could run. Straight.
I think Diana Taurasi's quicker than him though. So you'd have to take Diana Turrasi if we ever played football.
I mean, I can play some point guard.
They've got. Did you see the? And I'm swear I'm not trying to make fun of her, but it's really easy. They put up billboards with her face on it, and they could not have picked a more alien-looking picture of her, and I feel really, really bad because it is a great accomplishment, and she's probably one of the top athletes in Phoenix in Arizona's history, right? I mean, she's got to be up there with Fitz.
Yeah.
Fitzgerald,
fuck
you.
Fuck
Sorry,
you, man. Oh.
Sorry.
I was like, fuck you, man. What are you saying?
I would have been a long walk for that joke if he was talking about you.
Right?
Yeah, I was
shit.
Talking about Fitzgerald, but anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go, Hefe.
Yeah. That's good stuff right there. And congratulations, Turrasi. The other little cool tie-in to the show is she wears number 3, and that was always my number. And so, that's my favorite number. So, I kind of feel like I was part of her accomplishment. I mean, I helped.
You probably inspired her.
Well, that's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm saying. She's 8 years. She's 8 years younger than me. So of course I inspired her.
Yeah, she's probably like on the fields, and she saw you playing. Like, oh, I want to be like that guy. Oh, we're number 3.
Yep. I mean, yeah. Of course that happened. I didn't want to brag about it. I'm just saying.
You're better looking.
That is up for debate, my friend. Up for debate.
You'd make a better build.
Well, yeah, that's for sure. Definitely.
All
I
right.
definitely. Hey, before Hefe goes, can we talk about Lizzo?
Do you want to do that now, or do you want to do that when he comes back? Because he might have a lot to say about it.
I don't know, Hefe. How do you feel about that one?
Yeah. You guys can go ahead and let's do it now. Let's kill it.
All right, let's do it.
All right. So I want you guys to put yourself in the place of being an employee, and your boss comes to you and says, "Okay, you've got to go with me to the strip joint." And part of that requirement is eating bananas out of strippers and sex workers' vaginas. Would you do it?
I mean, would I? I mean, probably, but I mean, there's a number here. There's a number I'm thinking about as far as money you pay me to have to do that. And if you don't meet the number, I'm definitely not doing it.
What about you, Hefe?
So you said I got to eat a banana out of their vagina?
Yeah, and well, maybe you're making around 110, 112 a year.
Okay, so how far is it sticking out, and how much of it do I have to eat?
You've got to eat the whole thing. You've got to eat the banana.
Yeah, it's all of it, man. You got to deep throat this thing. I mean, in all seriousness, just if I could sort of break the levity here, you are this person, this Lizzo person is asking her staff, her people, telling them that you have to do this sex act, and I think it's so duplicitous to say that, you know, you can't ask somebody if they're gay or lesbian or trans or whatever in an employment thing, but then on the flip side, you can make them do something like this. I mean, she should absolutely be blacklisted.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a bad word. We're going to have to get into that later, but she should be absolutely put on a list of performers that no one will ever go see again, never give 1 cent of your money to ever again. Completely taken out of the general populace, because if other companies aren't even allowed to, they have to actually pay for and support people's sex change operations or whatever you're doing in the bedroom or in your personal life. How is this okay? How is this something that she thought would be all right and would fly?
Well, let's go and throw some more color out there, right? While on a concert trip with the Grammy Award-winning artist in Amsterdam in February 2023, the plaintiffs claim Lizzo invited them for a night out on the town, which ended in the city's red light district. The area is known for its sex theaters, sex shops, and clubs and bars where nudity is on full display. The lawsuit states things quickly got out of hand. Lizzo began inviting cast members to take turns touching the nude performers, catching dildos launched from the performers' vaginas, and eating bananas protruding from the performers' vaginas.
Oh, so the banana was still in there?
It was still in there. So you had to.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
It sounds like she was trying to make it look like. Okay, I think she was trying to make it look like she had a dick.
Right.
Hefe left.
Oh,
damn it!
This is why. You know what? We're not going to let him off the hook that easy.
No, we got to come back to that later.
We will. Well, I'll tell you what. I didn't know that it was still in the vagina. I'm definitely doing that for free. In fact, I might pay them. That's hot. I don't care what you say, dude.
I'm out. It's a sex worker. I don't want to eat a banana out of her vagina.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, that's what I was going to say. On the flip side, of course, in Amsterdam, they're all tested and they have to be disease free to even be in the industry. So you do have that going for you. But I don't. I mean, honestly, we've talked about this on the show. I don't like mixing food and sex in general. I mean, it gets
Lizzo
messy
does.
and smelly. Yeah, and so why would you? And on top of it, if this is what Lizzo is into in her private time, like let's just say it comes out that she has a weird banana dick fetish. I think all of us would be like, I mean, okay, like at this day and age, do it. But to put that on someone else,
that's not right.
No, that is not okay. Even if they're not your employee, even if they're just like your best friend, I would never ask you, McShane, to be a part of my sex life. I mean, other than like,
sweet. Good.
Talking about, I mean, if you guys want to know, I went on a date and how did it go? Sure, we'll talk about it. And sure, we'll talk about how incredibly hot she is or whatever. But beyond that, I'm not inviting you into my bedroom like this. And I know it was in public ish, but it's still, it's still what this equates to, that you are putting your fetishes, you're putting your desires on someone else. And I'm going to say it's bordering on fucking slavery ish, isn't it?
Oh, I think it is. I mean, it's definitely harassment.
Because these people obviously didn't feel like they could say no.
No.
And they felt like their job was in jeopardy. Their livelihood, we won't even say job, their livelihood was in jeopardy if they didn't do it.
And you're on tour in the middle of Amsterdam. It's not like you can just go ahead and hop a plane and go home. I mean, you can. It's going to end up costing you a lot, obviously. No, this is screwed up. And it kind of goes along with Sam Smith, right?
Yes. Very much
these
so.
Performers, for whatever reason, think they're above the law of just decency.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not even law, dude. It's just common decency. Yep.
And when I get it, you're in Amsterdam, and that's fine. And we don't have to get into the other stuff that she does, because she obviously thinks a lot of herself. But it really just comes down to being a decent human being. And if you're a decent human being, you don't do shit like this. Period.
No, ego is a. I would imagine that a person like Lizzo, well, I would imagine, I've seen her, I've heard her talk. She sort of uses her, the fact that she is a minority, the fact that she is not overweight, that she's heavy, that she's a big girl. She uses those things as her shield. In other words, if somebody challenges her on something she said or did, it's instantly because she's black or she's a big girl or whatever.
Correct.
And this, so you go through life like that with people being like, oh shit, I can't go there because I'm going to look like a racist or I'm fat phobic or whatever.
Right.
So she goes through life and then she gets to this point. She does something that is so, I mean, imagine, here we go, listeners. Replace Lizzo with Donald Trump. And he asked his staff to do that.
Yep.
Where are we at now? Taylor Swift, white girl. Absolutely. I mean, you would never hear the end of it. They would never, I mean, they would be a 4-letter word forever. And the lawsuits would be through the roof and over the fucking sun.
And they'd be canceled. Period.
Yeah.
Done.
Right.
Done. Donezo.
So you can't, I mean, I said it a few weeks ago. I'm an absolutist. If you're going to have equal rights, that means treated equally no matter what. I don't care what you've gone through in your life. You are treated as equally as me, no matter what I've gone through in my life. And here we are. Lizzo can eat shit. That's all I'm going to say. Because, and McShane, I know you can relate to this. We're both, you have a team under you. You have people who work for you.
Correct.
And look to you as an inspiring leader. And I don't care if you're a creative, you like that's your job. You're going out and singing and dancing, and they still are looking to you as the leader of the group, as the person I'm going to emulate their behavior because they're in charge. They're up front. And I've supervised people for a long time. You have supervised people for a long time. You can't take that for granted. You can't abuse that because trust is a funny thing. It takes a long time to earn it, and it's very easy to trash it.
Oh yeah,
and that's what she just did. And yeah, exactly. She will never get it back. So I guess, fuck you, Lizzo. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well,
how dare you abuse that?
Let's continue on with a trend that's popped up recently, and how DEI officers, diversity officers at big companies are suddenly being axed. They don't have a position anymore because it's suddenly being seen that DEI is not the most equitable thing as people want it to be. And it's done a lot more bad than it has good.
Yeah. And that's exactly the point is, and for those of you, at home playing along and you haven't heard DEI before, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Yeah, you're absolutely right, dude. That's one of those things where, you invent a better lawnmower, but it ends up like, mowing down the neighborhood pets and birds and stuff. Like, I'm not saying a new lawnmower isn't cool and that you need something that might make mowing the lawn easier. But when it starts just indiscriminately killing small creatures, and I know that's graphic, but that's these DEI jobs, these DEI officers, they are so targeted. It's not about equity. That the E gets taken out of there.
Well,
it's
there
actually
isn't
about
any equity. There is no equity. Even where I work, there's no equity in it. It's
right.
Let's go ahead and champion everybody other than who's been the focus for the last, I don't even know how long, right? Anybody who's white, men, women, if you're what would be considered the norm, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
You've been demonized for the last 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
That was the whole point of DEI. There was nothing about, championing humans, how to make everybody be comfortable. It was all about, let's make sure all of the fringe, right, and minorities and everybody else gets to drown out anybody who was there before. And that's not how it works.
No.
You can't. Otherwise, that's racist. It's just there's no equity there. It's just amazing to me.
You end up, this is one of those times where you end up becoming the thing you hate. The way out of racism and discrimination is not through being racist and discriminatory.
Right.
You don't break you don't fix a broken window by breaking
another window. Right.
Yeah, that's not how it works. And that's exactly, they were going scorched earth, man. They were going scorched earth, burn everybody whose skin and sexual orientation doesn't look like mine. And then we're gonna and here's the problem with it, which is, and I'm going to just I'm being inspired by Joe right now. Bold Talk by Joe. You're inspiring me. I'm gonna say what's on my mind. Kamala Harris is a perfect example of this. Because she is a minority and because she is a woman, she's gotten to where she is. You cannot tell me it's because of anything having to do with her mental capacity, her abilities, her execution of her position. You can't tell me that, because if you go and look at her record, you will find out you are absolutely wrong. The only reason she's got where she is because she flips that fucking card up every time. I'm going to look good for your diversity numbers. Hire me. And here she is. So,
and it's a major drawback to anybody who is black. Major drawback to anybody who is
qualified.
Female and qualified, intelligent, has the schooling, the leadership capabilities. But no, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go with what is proper for the ESGs. Make sure that the diversity, the equity, and the inclusion, we're going to make sure that that's what we're going to roll out there, and that's what the point is going to be. Has nothing to do with leadership, which is actually really probably the most important thing for the job that she's in. Netflix, Disney, and Warner Brothers, and Discovery, for that matter, have all recently said that high-profile diversity, equity, and inclusion executives will be leaving their jobs. Thousands of diversity-focused workers have been laid off since last year, and some companies are scaling back racial justice commitments. Now, the problem with this is that it's going to go the other way. The pendulum's going to snap back, and there's going to be more damage that's going to be done by this.
We're going to break more windows.
Yes.
Because we already broke all those. We're going to go break more. I know. And I don't want to see women pushed down. I don't want to see people who are not white pushed down, or people with different sexual orientations pushed down just because it wasn't fair to me. That's exactly what we're saying here, is that can't we just treat everybody on their fucking merit? I mean, Martin Luther King said it best. I hope that my children grow up in a world where they won't be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And there are not any more inspirational words than that. And yet here we are. We are exactly saying we're going to judge you by the color of your skin, not by the content of your character. No. Kamala, you're a terrible person. So yeah, you're right, is going to happen, and I'm really sorry for it. Because that's not right either. No. We all need to let go of our tribalism and actually discover that there's a lot of really beautiful human beings out there.
Yes.
If you give yourself a chance to let them in and to be a part of a larger group than just yourself. But there's also a lot of pieces of shit out there, and regardless of their skin color or their sexual orientation, they need to be out. They're gone. You're not working here. You're not part of my friend group. I don't want you drinking at my local bar. Get the fuck out.
Character and merit matter.
Yep.
They do. They should. That should be the focus. And being kind. It's not that fucking hard. But hey, you know what is hard? The BBC not being able to do a diversity survey and include the option of heterosexual in it.
Well, because everyone who works at the BBC is gay, lesbian, bisexual, or something else. Nobody there is heterosexual. Why would you be? That's stupid.
Under the question, now this is a survey that went out from the Local Democracy Reporting Service. This is BBC-funded journalists. We're supposed to take this survey. Under the question, what is your sexual orientation? The options include bi, bisexual, lesbian, gay, woman, gay man, other sexual orientation, and prefer not to say. That's
all right,
weird.
Which one are you picking?
I appreciate that people went off and bitched about this.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm definitely picking other, I guess. I mean, I can't even say I'm bi because I've never met a man I wanted to have sex with, and that's I'm not. I mean, I have met beautiful men in my life that I can admire, like Brad Pitt. I look at him and I'm like, my God, he's beautiful. But if he was in the same room with me, I'd buy him a beer, not
absolutely
take his pants off. So I would have to answer other on this survey. What the fuck, man? We have collectively, I said this in a text earlier to you guys, we have collectively lost our fucking minds. It's a mental disorder. This is a mental disorder.
Yeah. No, we absolutely have. I want to save the British banks abandoning racist terms until Hefe comes back.
Yeah, I agree. He had some good input on this.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and do that.
Yep. How's that beer treating you? Which, by the way,
it's almost done.
Yeah, mine too. I've got one more sip here. I want to point out that one of the things I love about Whiskey Hell, this show, in the same exact podcast, and even from the same person, I've equated a beer to sucking another man's penis.
A dry penis.
And I have also quoted Dr. Martin Luther King. That is the kind of content, guys. If you want bizarre, absurd, strange, and yet somehow relevant content, you come here, because that's what we do. And McShane, God damn bless you, dude. Bless you. Just God bless you, or whatever entity is out there. Aliens bless you. I don't know, but you put up with me, and there's just not a lot of people that can put up with me. And so thank you.
Well, I appreciate you, and I've had years of practice, and
yeah, you have.
we work damn good together. So that's going to continue on for another 20 years.
Oh God, I hope at least, dude. Imagine what Whiskey Hell is going to look like in 20 years.
Oh, we'll be the crotchety. We'll be even more crotchety than we already are.
Oh, dude, I'm thinking about. I'm toying with the idea. I'm going to throw this out there, and then we can go get our second beers. But yeah, I want your take on this.
Okay.
So, auto tune. Okay.
All right.
These artists that really don't have any talent at all, but they can put their voice through a machine, and it changes it so that it sounds like they have talent. The auto tune corrects all of your imperfections. Mariah Carey is a dying breed. Even Taylor Swift. I mean, these people actually have talent. They can actually sing. The rest of us go, wow, I can't do that. Well, now you can, because of auto tune. So here's what I'm going to throw out to you. I'm thinking about spending a small amount of money on an auto tune software. And then each show I will show up as somebody different. Like tonight you might have gotten Darth Vader. And then like next week you're going to get Garth Brooks. And then the week after that you're going to get Shania Twain.
I want this to happen. I want to be able to interview different famous people.
Yes. Okay.
Lincoln one day.
Yes.
Meatloaf.
I love that we live in a world where someone is named Meatloaf. Okay, good. See, I knew you're always game for my ridiculous, outlandish schemes.
There's nothing that we can't get out of.
I know. You're right. Ever since the Halloween party where I got on your back and you ran through a fence for me. Yep. Actually, I think that was your idea. I was just hanging on. So anyway, the two of us have found trouble and will continue to find trouble. And I think that could get us in a lot of trouble, impersonating an actual celebrity. So let's do it. I'm in.
All right. Well, let's go get beer too. And let's erase the hate from the first one.
Erase the hate. Yeah, exactly. All right. See you in a bit.
All right. We are back. We had a little bit of Zoom trouble there. So we're not sure if that's on Zoom side or maybe it is the solar issues that we're going to talk about later. But there's been a lot of solar activity. So
we are at the 5.9 month solar maximum, and that's nothing to sneeze at, as they say. So that could have something to do with it. We're not sure, but we'll get to that later.
Cool. All right, Fitz, I have with me here. Now this is the beer that just missed being the first. 2017 and 2018 barrel-aged barley wine ale with 2020 barley wine ale finished with cherry. This is Pipeworks barrel-aged Saddle Up. This is a wild beer.
Yeah. Pipeworks is a lot of fun, guys. If you haven't checked them out, they do some really fun stuff.
They totally do.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I opened it and just right off the bat, cherry.
Fine.
So much cherry. I love cherries. I love
that's very
cherries,
fun.
Cherry poppin' daddies, cherry pie. She's my cherry pie.
Cherry pie, man. We are eating ourselves tonight.
Goddamn.
What
right.
up?
Boozy. Pours a big brown finish. It smells like it's gonna be a little sour.
Okay. Kind of like that Captain of the Coast I sent you.
Holy shit, no. Oh, this is the kind of barley wine I like. Oh, that's a rebound. It's a little more carbonated than I prefer.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh. This is like going from, imagine we're going out one night and I got to jump on the grenade, and then the next weekend I find the 10. No, not
Okay.
9.5. It's a 9.5. It's not a 10.
Okay. All right.
Just to absolutely be a total pig. Oh my.
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while, it's okay for us guys to be pigs because A, we don't really fucking mean it, ladies. So it's okay. And B, we're just blowing off steam here. You know, we realize that we are never the 9.5. So like when we can get a 9.5, like that's an accomplishment, man.
Yeah.
That's ladies, you are the gatekeepers. You hold all the power. We are trying to get with you, not the other way around.
Exactly.
I mean, in rare cases, I think that's not the case, but usually. So it's not being a pig. It's just like, hey, you know, when the pretty girl actually says hi back, that's a good night. And that's the night that McShane's having now. Good for you. I'm glad. So what's the, setting you up here, but what's the mouthfeel?
It's dry. It's not. It's not a sweet barley wine. You know how some barley wine it has that it just kind of it engulfs your mouth, right? It's like it's velvety, and it has this texture to it that you're just like I just want it to slide down the back of my throat, not like I'm drinking it. It's more like a port sherry or something along those lines, or a cream sherry or something.
I was just gonna say it's almost like you want to spit more than drink it.
Yes. Yeah. It smells wonderful. It tastes good. Not amazing features though. After I've taken a few sips. So maybe she's missing a personality that I really like. She hasn't been able to make me laugh.
Dude,
I don't know.
And that, I mean, we've talked about it on the show before. Personality, ladies, is so much more important than your looks. I mean, you know, you can't be. Well, I guess you can be Quasimodo, because even Quasimodo, I think, had a girlfriend. But yeah, I mean, there needs to be a certain level of attractiveness where I look at you and I go, oh my God. But beyond that, if you don't have the personality to be able to keep up with me, that's a deal breaker.
It's true.
The ASU cheerleader that I dated, zero personality, nothing. I mean, she thought I was funny and I liked her giggle, but she had nothing to contribute past that. Where's this going? It's going nowhere. It lasted like what, 6 weeks, 7? I don't know.
And Quasimodo rang a lot of bells, Fitz. So let's give it out to this first beer is going to be for Quasimodo, or second beer.
He rang a lot of bells. You are right. Cheers. Cheers, Quasi. Or is it Moto?
Drinking?
I don't know.
Mr. Moto.
So I chose this beer more for the name of the beer than the content of its character.
All right.
Cha-ching. Still, I'm hoping that I'm going to be pleasantly surprised. I'm going in with kind of low expectations on this one. This is from Cerebral Brewing, a pretty great brewery. I mean, I won't say, well, they're up there. They do some really good stuff. This one is called, This one is called Solar Burst. It is a dragon fruit lager. Now, typically I'm not into lagers. That's just not my jam. I will have one on a hot summer day, or if I'm going to be, I'll have one if I know I'm going to be driving later or whatever, because they're low in ABV. They're smooth, easy drinkers. They're actually really good to pair with food because they complement flavors that are going on with your meal. But for just a Saturday night drinker, I probably wouldn't have chosen this. But the fucking artwork on this can shows it's a drawing of a solar flare popping off the sun, and you know how I just geek out about that shit.
Totally.
Love it. So, and plus the dragon fruit component to this really kind of intrigued me. So anyway, it's only a 4.9%er, so I'm going kind of light for my second beer. But again, that's strategic because I've got kind of an early morning tomorrow morning, and things are happening tomorrow, so I just didn't want to wake up wrecked. So anyway, let's give this bad boy a sip. I actually, so the smell, first off, is slightly hoppy, little IPA-ish, but there is a fruit component to it, a sweetness, a pungence. Is that even a word? Pungence? I'm gonna go with it. There's a little bit of like an acrid fruit smell to it, like a fruit that's fallen off the tree and it's starting to decompose, but the bugs haven't found it yet.
Right.
Doesn't that sound delicious? But anyway, that's kind of what I'm getting from just the smell of the beer. So,
So Cerebral, I think, is out of Denver.
Yeah, I think they are. I think that's right. Yeah. Okay, so again, going with my general philosophy, this is a beer first, so it's definitely a lager. It's a very good, very flavorful lager. It's got some balls. It's not just your typical Bud Light or a fucking Shapiro or whatever. It's got some chutzpah, for those of you of the Jewish faith. But then on the back end, you get this subtle little. Have you ever had a dragon fruit, McShane?
Yeah, I have. Wasn't it for me? It was very meh.
Yeah,
it just didn't have a lot to it. I wasn't really overwhelmed by it.
So this is what I've heard, because I have had dragon fruit on 3 occasions. 2 of them were exactly what you just said, meh. The third occasion, it was actually what sucked was it was my first time trying dragon fruit. There it is, Solar Burst. Yep. It was phenomenal. So this is what I've heard about dragon fruit, that there's a certain species that you get just out in the wild, out in the rainforest. It's a rainforest. And if you get it wild, it's like the best things you'll ever put in your body. Both for and
they're good for you
its
too.
Taste. Yeah, it's super good for wonderful taste, very nourishing to your body, a lot of antioxidants, all of that. But they are the folks that want to sell a lot of dragon fruit. I don't know, pharmaceutical companies probably. They've bred this thing so that it's bigger, it's less tasty, and it doesn't do anything for you. So that's probably the dragon fruit that you had. It's probably the dragon fruit that 90% of people have had, that I had the last 2 times I tried it because I hated it. But this beer, I feel like they got the actual real deal, because yes, it's a beer up front, but on the back end, you get this sour, almost like bready, but fruity flavor. And that's what the dragon fruit, the really good dragon fruit I had in Costa Rica was like. And I feel like they captured that in this beer. So I'm, strangely enough, and maybe for the first time on the show, I'm very, very happy you with a lager here. They did a great job. This is how you make a lager special. You can do it a million different ways, and it's just a beer. This is special. So yeah, good stuff. I'm very happy with this one. It's definitely we may get to second base here. We'll see.
All right, very good. Is it crushable? Like, are you hot day? Is that gonna be your go-to coming in from mowing the lawn?
No.
Okay.
Surprisingly not. No, it's it's like I said, it's a very robust flavor note or flavor profile.
Okay.
So no, I think if you just chugged this thing, you would miss so much of it. I'm actually enjoying just sort of sipping it. So.
Interesting. All right. So
yeah.
Definitely don't drink it from the can. You got to go with a glass for that one.
Oh, 100%. It's got to open up. And the head just sort of naturally, it's a pretty, I mean, it was probably a inch and a half head just pouring out of the can. So
nice. All right. Very cool. So one of the things, before we get too deep in anything else, did you see that they figured out that they might have actually figured out how to pharmaceutically treat cancer?
Yeah, I did. I mean, so this is just one of those things where, great minds think alike and all that. I was in the middle of reading that article, and then you sent it on our group text. So I think we found it at the same time from the same place. And I'm, that's how my mind works. I got to read an article, kind of just skimming it first time, just to see kind of what I'm pulling out of it. So I read this article just kind of skimming, and I was like, shit, this sounds like way too good to be true. So then I went back and I read it for content. I read it, a paragraph. I stopped. I thought. I digested. I read the next paragraph. This is one of two things, dude. This is either the miracle fucking cure that we've all been waiting for, or it is going to have some sort of unknown, unseen, terrible side effect that like melts you from the inside out, and there's nothing to do about it. It's one of those two things. This is either what we've been waiting for, it's a lightning bolt from heaven, or it is the devil reaching up and just pulling you down into hell because you can't stop the cascade of effects that's going to happen from this thing. It sounds too good to be true. I don't know how else to put it.
Well, I think the important thing that we need to talk about is that we can't talk about it because there's way more important things like China and Joe Biden and the IRS and Central Park. And we have so many other bad things going on that this stuff doesn't even get out there, Fitz. So we shouldn't even talk about it, right?
You're right.
We should just bury it in show notes.
That's a very good point. This is potentially really good news. And yet, who's covering this? We had to find this on Zero Hedge.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, they are not a small, but they're not MSNBC, they're not Fox, they're not CNN, NBC, they're it's not mainstreamed. But this is huge news. I mean, if anybody's ever had cancer, lost somebody to cancer, this is fucking huge because this pill they claim, once ingested, it targets only hard mass tumors. And it doesn't matter where it is in your body. It only targets them. And there's zero side effects. Yeah, right. There's zero side effects, and it just targets cancer cells. That's tremendous. And they've done animal testing. They're now moving into phase 1 of human testing. And yet, how many of you right now, be honest with yourselves, how many of you have heard of this? I mean, I hadn't till today.
Hefe, have you heard about it?
Nope.
But I think we've all heard about Lizzo and the penis vagina bananas a lot more than this.
Yeah. In Ukraine.
Yeah.
In Ukraine.
Yep. And Trump and his 94 indictments.
And aliens, UFOs.
And we heard a lot about that. Yep.
Yeah.
And the economy and how it's doing so well.
So this is going to be in show notes. You guys should take a look at it. And you can even Google the City of Hope. They're the ones that developed the small molecule that targets the cancerous variants. It's a big deal. It seems like it's a big deal, at least to us.
Agreed.
We're gonna have to track it a lot more. So, hey, Hefe.
Yep.
Not to get away from the important news there, but we wanted to let you know that blackjack is actually racist.
Oh, that's a good point.
You have to find a different name for it.
In fact, not only are you a racist for dealing blackjack, but half of the deck that you're dealing from is racist.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anybody who plays it is racist.
And anyone who plays it is racist. That's right. Because, well, go ahead, McShane. Why are we saying this? Why is this racist?
British banks are abandoning the racist term black market because it's racist.
Because it has the word black in it.
Is racist, yes. And they're also going to change it to illegal market. So nothing is going to be on the black market now. It's only going to be the illegal market. Black hat, the hacker, right? You have white hats that try to catch the black hats, and black hats are the bad ones. That's racist now. So now they're just going to be called hats, I guess. Yeah. So this is where we're at. We're getting rid of terms that are apparently racist just because the term black is in there. So blackjack, I'm sorry to tell you this, Hefe, you got to come up with a better name.
I've got two.
What do you got? What do you got for us?
I got Happy Jack or Joy Jack.
Ooh.
I like Joy Jack. I would play Joy Jack.
I might go play Joy Jack right after the show.
especially if there's happy endings. I mean, do I win?
I think you would. I think you'd have to.
The other one that we kind of missed that's like so painfully obvious. Black holes are so racist.
Black
they
hole
only
is
eat
very racist.
They only eat minorities. We know this.
Yes. They eat anything around it. Yep.
So they just now need to be referred to as holes. It's just a hole.
Yes, or devouring holes.
Now, one that I'm having trouble with. See, to me, okay. First of all, this is all absurd, and everything we're doing here is satire. If for those of you who weren't catching on, when I hear something like black market, I think like shadowy, dark underworld. I don't think of people of color. In fact, most of the people I picture in a black market are white.
Yeah,
because I mean they're the ones doing the shit. So here's the one that I'm having a tough time with. When you blackmail someone, what would be the alternative to that? Like we can't say blackmail anymore. So what's the alternative to that? You just say, I'm.
Well, is that extortion?
Well, yeah, but what's the common man's term to that?
Okay. So it maybe it's
shadow mail. I'm shadow mailing you.
I'm dark mailing you.
Ooh,
no.
See, I was just gonna say, remember back in the day,
either.
like to say darky or to refer to someone as a darky? That was
racist.
That's way more racist than saying, "Hey, the black guy over there," because you're just describing them, or the white guy over there, or the Latino over there, or the brown guy. I don't know.
Oh shit! Blackberries are racist.
Oh God, I have so many growing in my backyard. I'm so racist.
Screwed, man.
Dude, so one of my favorite beers, in fact, I swear to God, I didn't plan this. My side bitch beer tonight, do you want to know what it's called? I barely can even say it. It's from 10 Barrel Brewing, and it's called Sinister Black. And it is such a racist beer. I don't think I can finish it now.
I think you need to go pour it out.
Yeah.
And what about those nasty, pimples that you get that are called blackheads?
Blackheads are racist. You can't say that either.
No. They're
blacksmiths.
shadowheads now.
Blacksmiths are racist.
Oh no, you can't go there.
Oh yeah.
I got somewhere I want to go.
All right,
All right.
Go lead us, McDuff.
Slightly off topic, but kind of on topic.
Okay.
Why have we not renamed manhole covers yet? I'm looking at 9 of them right now, and I'm sick to my stomach because women can go down there.
Oh yeah. Oh
so
yeah.
what's the equitable name for a manhole? Is that
I think they should be called a roach hole cover, because way more roaches are down there than men.
Yeah.
What about equal opportunity hole?
An EO hole? An
EO hole.
EOH?
Yes.
They them hole.
A they them hole. Wow, that sounds like a fucking glory hole.
It does.
Yeah, we have I actually when we first moved here, I was staying with a friend, and she lived on a street called Blacktail.
Oh.
And so now I'm even more racist, of course, for living on that street. But I'm thinking, what could we change that name to? Because I know it's named after a deer, because there's a black-tailed deer, there's white-tailed deer. But how could we change that? I mean, let's not describe things. I mean,
lack of color tail.
Less than white-tail?
Big long street sign.
The less than white-tail street?
This is where we're going. This is this is ridiculous.
It's absurd. It's absurd.
Going back to our DEI conversation. This is, if you're spending more time on this than you are on important things,
on actually making things equitable.
Oh, it's just. All right, the article's in show notes. For God's sakes. Hey, guys, do you have any issue with a sitting congressman having her daughter be her power of attorney, but she gets to vote on stuff?
Yeah, she is ceding her own personal finance and welfare to her younger daughter, but she's going to vote on shit that means something to you. And we covered Feinstein. Was it last week or the week before?
No, it was last week when she couldn't vote. She wanted to give a speech, and all her handler said was, "Just say I. Just say I, Grandma."
Right. This fuckstick leaned over and was like, "Just say I." And she kind of laughed like, "Okay, you're right. I should just." And yet she's going to cede everything that's meaningful to her. She's going to cede that to her daughter, because her daughter is clearly more mentally cogent. I mean, yes. To answer your question, McShane, this is concerning to me. This matters to me. I want to know why she's still allowed to be a sitting congressman when she can't even make her own decisions for her health or her finances. Why is that allowed?
Jeff, when you're 80, do you think you'll still be throwing cards?
Fuck no. I'm not going to make it to 80.
All right. I don't expect to be working past. All right, well, I'm retiring at 55 somehow. I don't know.
Well,
I don't expect to be like useful past 70. I plan on drinking a beer every day and hanging out, and then sending you guys videos.
Yeah. Well, so basically, what you do now.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a really good point. So I'm not planning on changing anything in the next 30 years. That's what I'm saying.
I love that. I love that for you. I love that for me. I want that for all of us. That is phenomenal. I love that plan.
How is there a difference in expectations than what any other layperson would have?
No, I mean, I've talked about it on the show, and not to get too raw or anything, but I have several people in my life who are 70 plus, even in the upper, getting 80, 83, 84, and mentally. So of the people that are in my life that are of that age, mentally, most of them are still pretty with it, although there are gaps. But 20% of them are completely mentally failing. So if we take all the, let's say 75 plus senators and politicians, I mean, let's include Biden, and everybody who is over 75, if you figure 20% of them are mentally losing it, they're mentally not there anymore. What are we looking at here? What are we? Go ahead.
How do we change the term limits and stuff? They vote on it, right? They're the people that vote on things like that.
Yeah, they are. You're
They're
right.
not going to vote themselves out of a job.
No.
Look at those
ridiculous.
numbers. Look at those numbers you just pulled up, McShane.
There's the 118th Congress.
Holy fuck.
Over 30%. Yeah, the Senate, over 30% of the Senate is over 60 to 69.
No. Well, yeah, okay, yeah. Go ahead. Keep going.
70 to 79, almost 30% of the Senate.
So
The
right
House
there,
is about
you're-
15%.
You're already talking over half, McShane. Over half are over the age of 60.
The average age of the Senate is 64 years.
Average.
And yet, what is the average age, or what is most of the population? They are the 18 to 35 demographic. That's most of the voting population.
Correct.
And yet, are you represented, guys?
No.
Am I? No. Wow, that's incredible. I'm good. Nice hunting, dude. That's a huge stat. I think, honestly, if we want to talk about, I mean, I'm not saying that we just throw our older folks out the window.
No.
In fact, I depend on the older folks in my life for true wisdom and experience and knowledge that I can't gain on my own. I have to depend on them to give it to me. But in our decision-making population, our population of people that should be making decisions about our own lives, yes, we can consult them for knowledge, for asking questions, but making decisions about my life, it should be people much younger, in my opinion.
And people who are they get what's going on.
Yeah,
right? They're not approaching
right.
everything from a 1960s perspective. It's there needs to be an age limit at least. Even if you didn't have term limits, we shouldn't have anybody over 80 in the office, period. And that, quite honestly, I mean, 80, 75, I would take 70. There should just be some kind of a limit. That's all I'm looking for.
And we're not being ageist here, but
no,
it's for the same reasons that we don't let somebody under 18 vote, or somebody under 16 drive, or somebody under 21 drink. That also is on the flip side. We can't have these people who are in a later stage of life who should be sharing their wisdom. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but they shouldn't be making decisions for the rest of us who are, as McShane very, very well pointed out, they are not as in touch with technology, with culture. Ask any of those fucking people if they know what trip hop is, or what's going on with Twitch. Do they even know what Twitch is?
Or
do
Lizzo.
They know what YouTube is? Yeah, with Lizzo. Say Lizzo. What?
Do they know the social ramifications of putting a banana in a streetwalker's vagina? No, I don't think they do.
Oh, I do.
Hefe dropped again. Hefe does not want to talk about Lizzo and vagina bananas.
As soon as we mention Lizzo, he's out.
Have you seen Central? Let's go to New York. Can we go to New York?
Let's go to New York, please. Let's find out what's going on in this wonderful. You know what's fucking crazy, dude, is
New York used to
growing
be
up.
amazing.
Well, yeah, it used to be amazing, and growing up, it was what everybody cited as the melting pot, right? We've all heard that fucking term. It's the melting pot. It's the place where immigrants come in to Ellis Island. It's where my shit, dude, that's where my people came into America, was through Ellis Island. I have the records. And now, what is this city? What is it? What are we doing?
It's taken this safe harbor. What's the term for it? It's a sanctuary city.
Yeah.
It's taken this. It's gone fully liberal, fully democratic. Okay. It's I mean, not even democratic. It's Democrat ridden.
Let's not even talk about Democrat or Republican. Let's talk about, it's so liberal that it's
all right. I'll give you that.
Right. It's gone to the point of you can't even, because again, we've talked about this, but you and I both were, one of the things that we've always been able to relate to one another with is that we're both pretty liberal people. We're
at heart, yes.
We're at heart, right. I mean, I don't see color. I don't care about sexual orientation. You do what you want to do. You know, all these things, go down the checklist. I don't give a fuck. If you're a good person, I want you in my life. I want you as part of my group. And you and I have had a very diverse group of friends, always. And so we are liberals. And still, what I see going on in New York City, what I see going on in LA, San Francisco, it is absolutely mind-blowing. It is outside my realm of comprehension. I don't understand where you think you're going with this.
Well, it's just straight up insanity.
It is.
So here's the thing. This week, Bloomberg article, New York City officials are considering housing migrants in Manhattan's Central Park and Brooklyn's Prospect Park as part of a plan to find new sites for some of more than 95,000 asylum seekers who have arrived in the past 15 months. This used to be a mighty city. This used to be like the benchmark for America. And it is so overrun, and it is so in jeopardy. We have not talked about this in a few months, but because of this, because of the bullshit that's happening, and we've got one more story that we want to get to, and it's about New York. Because of this asylum seeking, because they don't have any place to put anybody, because you have so much drug and so much just absolute failure in thinking, New York is going to be one of the 15-minute cities.
Yeah.
Along with San Francisco, Philadelphia, yep. Portland. Those are going to be your first 15-minute. And L.A.,
yeah.
Those are going to be your 15-minute cities.
Yeah, I mean, you used to have your boroughs, right? You used to have, we all... what the fuck? West Side Story. We all saw that. We had the certain boroughs where the Cubans were. We had the certain boroughs where the blacks were. We had the certain boroughs where the Chinese were, where the Italians were, the Irish, the Scottish.
Yep.
Those boroughs are going to turn into actual physical barriers.
Yep.
Where you don't get to go outside of those barriers. You have to only mingle with your neighbors, your people. And that's it. Because they're going to have to, you are so, my God, you are so right. It is these kinds of things. That's
the only way to get it back on track.
And also then this other story that we're going to cover with the Twitch twat that are forcing, if you're the government and you're like, I need to get control of my city, what are you going to do? You're going to impose basically, they're not going to call it martial law, but you're basically imposing martial law. You're basically saying, I'm putting up fences and you don't get to go past this fence unless you have a legitimate reason that is government approved to go outside this fence.
And you're going to have to scan your eyeball on your world coin.
Of course.
And that's how you're going to be able to get out.
All of that.
It really is surreal where we are. It really is surreal. And Mayor Eric Adams, and I know I don't live in New York, and I probably shouldn't have the opinions that I do about it because I'm not sitting in the refuse that's happening there. But just looking at things from the 20,000 foot level that I can, how in the fuck did you guys put this guy in order? How did you put him in the mayoral seat? It is absolutely astonishing to me.
Well,
because he has done nothing.
He checked off all the DEI boxes, dude. And I'm not just saying that because he's black. I'm just saying that because he got there by playing a card that people couldn't ignore.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, believe me, it wasn't his intelligence. It wasn't his merit of his character. It was other things. And I'm with you, dude. I mean, I have even less room to talk. I mean, at least you are of Jewish heritage. So you actually do have some clout in talking about New York City and sort of maybe the minority side of things. I don't even have that. I mean, I'm Irish, German, American, but I will say that my ancestors, it was on the backs of my ancestors, particularly the Irish side, that built that city.
Absolutely.
The Irish are who built New York City, period. That is historically documented. And so from that point of view, I will just say that in the scope of everything, 9/11, the riots, BLM stuff, all of it, taking all that into account, I have a love for that city. And I will tell you, I've only been through New York City. I've never even been to New York City, like done the sites, done the museums. I still love that city. And what's being done to it is abhorrent. It is despicable. It's sad. It's really sad to see what's happening there. And I won't say, you can't just blame one man, right? I mean, that's like, I don't know, that's like Joe Biden blaming Donald Trump for the current state of the economy. Oh, wait, he did that this week. We'll get to that later. But you can't do that. It's fucking asinine. It's stupid. You can't blame one guy for all the world's problems. But Mayor Adams is a really good place to start. And then trickle down, it can go from there. But I'm really sad to see New York in the state that it's in, and with little to no social cohesion. When big things happen in New York, you're supposed to be able to rally around one another. And right now, it's the exact opposite. Something's happening. People are looking the other way and just going back to their boroughs. And
let's go tinfoil hat time, right?
Okay. Yep.
You want to you want to break the back of a nation. You weaken its biggest cities.
Yeah.
You weaken its biggest population.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I would like to say that that is a tinfoil hat thing moment, and you're ridiculous, McShane. Ha ha ha. I can't because I actually think you might be onto something there.
So, Twitch twat, Kai Sennett did was it PS5 or was it Xbox?
That's a good question.
He did a giveaway.
Yeah. He was gonna do. He was gonna give away a bunch of games. It was a game giveaway. And he's got a huge Twitch following. So he said, "Meet me in this place at this time," which happened to be, New York, downtown New York. And then there were so many people that showed up, he fucking bounced. He was like, I don't know what to do with all these people. He got in his car and left, injuring, what was it, 7 people, 8 people? Because they tore out of there so fast. So he injured some of his followers.
Yep.
And then the people who were there just decided, we're just going to fucking take the place over. And
let's just go and
their
riot.
behavior was, I can't believe this was happening. The video that you see, and please, guys, I know it's hard, but go out and look at the video. These people are fucking animals. They are hurting innocent shop owners. They are hurting innocent bystanders. They are pulling people out of taxi cabs. They are crushing people's vehicles under the weight of their fat ass bodies. They're pieces of shit human beings. And somehow they feel like they're justified because they didn't get a video game giveaway. You got to be fucking kidding me.
Why is it that in a Democrat city, it's a large gathering. In any other city, it's a mob.
It's a great question. And
because
we all know the answer.
That's a thing.
Yeah, it is. They are working very hard to change the verbiage on this thing. Very hard. And I'm sorry, you it doesn't matter if you put lipstick on a pig, to quote one of the greatest and most monumentally challenged politicians of our time. But you can put lipstick on a pig, and it's not going to change the fact it's still a pig. These people, what they're doing, look at that. Look at that. They look like ants on a fucking grasshopper trying to get out of an ant colony. But
they're
it's
riding
a car.
On cars. They're stealing
it's a
cars.
Taxi. Yeah.
They're throwing
it's
stuff at cops. Yeah, this is great.
That poor
this is what happens when a city is completely out of fucking control. There is no control there. Why would you be a cop there?
I would not. And again, going back to the story last week, this is why Michigan, specifically Chicago, is allowing illegal immigrants to become police officers, sworn officers of the law, because they can't get rational people who want to start a career in law enforcement. They can't get them to go and go into these places because it's out of control.
Do you think that's why?
I do.
I don't know if it is. I think you've got part of that, though, but I think you also have the advantage of, I'm going to go ahead and put in people who are, for lack of a better term, illegal, right? They don't have any papers. They're seeking asylum. They're easily controlled. They're going to do whatever you want them to do just so they can stay, right?
Well, that's what I mean.
I think it's deeper than that.
Okay, I mean, yes, yes, I believe all that, which you just said. I think that too. I think that's the deeper point of what I was trying to say, is that you have people who have been in this country, who know the laws, who grow up and they want to be a police officer and help people, blah, blah, blah. And then they realize that being a police officer doesn't really mean helping people. It means that you're put into situations where you're either going to have to really hurt someone or ignore illegal behavior. I mean, that's where we're at. You have those two choices. And so you're not going to go into that because that's not your purpose, and you're going to go find another purpose in your life. But people who are coming here and just want to scratch and claw their way into citizenship, yes, they will absolutely be the police officers, the law enforcement officers for these groups that are literally out of control. You know, it's funny if you read what the mainstream media is putting out there. Our biggest concern should be white supremacist terrorists, nationalists.
Correct. Yep.
Scary people, militias.
Yep. White people.
Well, yeah, for sure. White and 99.9% male. And yet, what's happening in these cities and who is actually causing the destruction and mayhem is anything but that. And I'll leave it there. I'm not saying it's a racial issue.
No, because it's not. You can look at the video, and it's everybody.
It's everybody.
It is literally everyone. It doesn't matter the race. When you look at the videos, there's black, white, Latino. Everybody is in there. It doesn't matter. It's just absolute chaos.
Opportunists.
It's an opportunity. Yes, it's an opportunity to create absolute havoc, and that's a city that's out of control. Why doesn't the National Guard get called in for stuff like that?
If I were president and I wasn't 80 years old and senile, that's what I would do. I would say
those are your voters. You're not going to call in the National Guard there. You're going to call it into you're going to go into Texas with that.
Well, yeah, right.
Hey, did you know that China is funding America's public schools, Fitz?
I did know that. I mean, education's kind of my speciality. Yep. For any of you who have seen Neverending Story, you'll know what I mean. And so, yeah, I did know this, and shit, I don't even know where to go with this, because on the one hand, you go, wow, I don't want to be racist, so I shouldn't just judge because it's a Chinese company. And then you carry that thought. But when you see and I'm going to call it programming, you see the programming that they're funding for these children.
Yeah. Take the race out of it. You can take the race out of it. You don't have to apply race to it.
You're right. It's a philosophy. Yeah. And it should concern every one of you. Every one of you.
The report by Parents Defending Education states that the close coordination between the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, and U.S. schools to establish Confucius classrooms has historically included 143 school districts in 34 states. At least 7 contracts are still active in Texas, Kentucky, Minnesota, Oklahoma, Oregon, and Washington. I don't know about Oklahoma. That one surprised me. Texas also surprised me. And so did Kentucky. But Minnesota, Oregon, and Washington are pretty sketchy when it comes to, I'll just say, communist influence.
Yeah. Yeah, in Washington, there's a huge Asian population. In Portland, Oregon here, there's a huge Asian population. So I understand those. Texas is surprising to me only because they are sort of, they lead education in this country. I think we haven't talked about it for a while, but for those of you who don't know, particularly San Antonio, but basically all of Texas, when they adopt a new textbook, they adopt it, and then it's like a ripple in the pond. Everybody else in the entire country does that same textbook. Period. That's not conjecture. That's not 50% of the time that happens. 100% of the time, if San Antonio School District and Texas at large adopts a new textbook, the rest of the nation adopts that same textbook. So it's interesting to me that they are, and I will say Texans are opportunists, and if someone's offering money, they'll take it. So sure. I get that too. And I'm also not saying that Confucius ideology, that his philosophy was all that bad. However, it does lead to Confucianism directly leads you to communism. He was all about the many sacrificing for the few, and that we're all a hive mind, and that we need to give homage to our ancestors. And I've studied Confucius quite a bit. So that part of it surprises me that Texas educators, school boards would say, well, it's okay to put some of that in there. And maybe it's just a sign of the times. That's kind of where we're at as a country, right? everything is for the greater good. We need to change the sex of children for the greater good. Because that's what they need. And we need to let men compete in women's sports because it's for the greater good.
Greater good. Yeah. And we need to burn books because it's the greater good.
Yeah, well,
you know what else is the greater good? Yeah. You know what else is the greater good? Let's see here. Let's go to China Tide EV company backed by Democrats buys a Michigan land miles from U.S. military base. That's for the greater good.
It keeps going too. That's what's concerning. I first of all, I want to say
going backlash this morning as the Biden administration prepares a major crackdown on U.S. power plants fueling the nation's power grid.
And this comes as farmers in America's heartland spent the weekend rallying to stop a global Chinese company from setting up a Chinese electric vehicle battery plant in Michigan after far-left Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer greenlit the project.
Outraged Michigan farm owner Lori Brock joins us now. Lori, what took place over the weekend? Anything to give you hope?
Oh, absolutely. Kind of just to let you know how bad the weather was, we had torrential rainstorms all day, but it didn't stop people from coming. At one time, we had counted over 700 cars were parked here. We had a huge amount of people, even with umbrellas and everything, and it was cold. People still came, and they came from our community, from all over the state of Michigan. It was actually really humbling.
You know, Lori, I know you say this is not for you about politics. You're not a Democrat or a Republican. This is about your land, and you live 2 miles from where this plant will be built. What are your concerns?
It's not really 2 miles from where this plant's going to be built. The Goshen plant keeps obtaining more and more land every week. This goes right up to the border of my property.
Wow.
19 Mile Road is the front. And even though they've got non-disclosure signed, they've already acquired all the land on 19 Mile Road. So we can't get a truthful statement out of them, and the poor people can't say anything because they've got non-disclosure,
Right.
Things signed. So it's
Right.
much closer than that.
Lori, Michigan is where America's car industry, for the most part, has flourished for decades. How did this project to build electric vehicle batteries for a Chinese company, how did it get this far in Michigan?
I'll tell you what, we've got some corrupt township officials. They knew about this and they've been working on it behind the scenes and did not tell the public. And then kept telling everybody that they had the complete public support, which in fact was a complete lie. The public did not know about it until about a month ago when we found out about it. And when we found out about it, we've been rallying hard ever since because we don't want it here. This is rural America. We are farms. All of our land over here is agricultural or residential, and they're trying to rezone our beautiful farmland into industrial land, and they're doing it at record pace, and nobody stopped them. Like I said, our township officials, one of them admitted to taking money from Goshen. So I mean, and then they continue to let them vote on the board. We're just finding so many non-truths, and it's horrible.
All right, so I'm going to stop there. And then we're going to go out here and we're going to look at this one. Energy Secretary.
Yeah, go ahead.
Energy Secretary.
But I think China has been very sensitive and has actually invested a lot in their solutions to achieve their goals. So we're hopeful that we can all learn from what China is doing, but the amount of money that they're investing in clean energy is actually, encouraging.
Energy Secretary Granholm claims the U.S. can learn from China on climate change. Now, she actually talked to the Chinese government just a couple days before Biden administration went ahead and tapped the Strategic Petroleum Reserve back in 2021. Hey, Fitz, you know that we've been in a saber rattling with over Taiwan and China, right?
Well, of course. And we are the SRP, sorry, the SPR. SRP is a different thing. The SPR, Strategic Petroleum Reserve, is literally at an all-time low. I mean, it's lower than it's been basically ever since it started. And we got there, so this story breaks that one of our officials was talking to the CCP before Biden decided to dedicate the petroleum reserve to our own supply line so that we could get gas prices down 20 cents a gallon, which they're still way above when he took office. I mean, let's not forget that. It's funny the tweets that the White House and whoever Biden's fucking intern is keeps putting out that we've been doing all this for jobs and for the economy and blah blah blah. It's tireless and it's tiring. They are tireless putting it out, and it just exhausts all of us because we know we're the boots on the ground. We feel it. I mean, do you know that food prices jumped the highest they've ever jumped in the month of July? So we're all hurting in places that it actually counts, which is food, gas, living expenses, rent, putting a roof over your head. That we're all hurting in those places. But yet, in order to lower our gas for 20 cents a gallon, which I'm not saying wasn't unwelcome, but it still didn't get us down to where we were when Trump was in office, and I'm not a fan of Trump, I'm just saying, in that time period, gas prices were a lot lower.
Well, yeah.
And now
the first thing Biden did was he walked in, he said, nope, we're not going to drill anymore.
Yep. And so now we are strategically at a disadvantage because we don't have any petroleum reserves for our military. For if Saudi Arabia wakes up tomorrow and is like, hey, sorry, fuck you, you don't get any more of our petroleum. Now what? We're fucked. And I mean proper, with no Vaseline. They're going in dry, guys. And that's thanks to Biden. I want to thank President Biden. This is not a Democratic statement. It's not a Republican statement. It is an American statement. Thank you very much for giving away all of our strategic stability. We have none. Zero.
The thing that drives me insane, though, is that on the one hand, we're going to be such a hard ass when it comes to Taiwan, and we're going to make sure we protect our interests there. We're going to go ahead and send the seventh Fleet out there to protect our interests. We're going to make sure that we're saber rattling with North Korea. We're in the Pacific big time, but then we're selling out everything at home.
Everything.
We don't give a shit. We allow a California lab to come in and produce kits for COVID tests.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's turned out that it was actually a Chinese biolab. We've allowed Chinese police stations to run rampant now.
And pull American citizens out. American citizens, because they may or may not have insulted the CCP. That's a great point, dude. I didn't forget about those things, but that ties into all of this.
We are so hypocritical, and we are so willing. You talk about voting for the lesser of all evils, and I couldn't stand Trump.
No.
And I think deep down I knew that Biden, it was going to be a head fake. You're going to see the worst, and then you're going to see what the actual end game is. Biden's the end game. He's going to just let everything decay. He's going to sell it off like it's an old junker because there's not a lot of value left in it. He's just going to part it out, and he's going to walk away with his millions and billions.
No, a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine here, who's probably, present company included, he's probably one of the top 3 smartest people I've ever met in my life. He gets it. He gets a lot of things on a lot of levels, and he's made me look at things, take a hard look at things that I didn't want to look at before. But actually today he said, when a business, maybe it's a business, a corporation that's run for 80 years, but either their technology is old. Let's take Kodak, for example. Kodak just had that moment in the 90s, early 2000s, when they realized that it didn't matter how good their film technology was. They were the stopwatch had started. The clock was going. It was running down, and they were going to be obsolete pretty quick. And here we are. But he said, that moment when a corporation realizes that it's done, what it does as a specialty is no longer needed. What do? They start wholesaling and liquidating everything.
Yep.
They sell out to whoever will buy their shit because they know it's going to be worthless in 5 years.
Yep.
He said, what are we doing as the United States government right now? I was like, fuck, dude, you're exactly right. That's exactly where we're at. The US dollar is worthless. As a fiat currency, it's worthless. And we know we're all transitioning to the CBDCs. So why not sell this, liquidate that, bury that, because we don't want anyone ever finding out we even had that. Just let it coast until it goes off the cliff. And then whoever's still dumb enough to be in the car, well, I'm sorry, you're dead. And then the rest of us, if we're not in the car, we jumped out. We're injured. We're skinned knees. We're cut up. We're bruised. We might survive it, but it's not going to be a fun trek home because we just lost our car.
I'm not going to
that's where we're at.
I'm not going to like a world where our country isn't. There's no basis in it, right? There's no substance, and that's where we're getting. Like everything that we were based on, everything that we took pride in is eroded.
Wait, so do you mean economically, socially?
I mean all the above. I mean all the above.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
It's continental decay.
Yeah.
And I don't want to I'm telling you, whiskey hell at some point may be global, because I don't know that I'm going to want to stay much longer.
Agreed.
Because there's no point. There's no point. I mean, if we're not going to take pride in this, then I might as well go someplace else. I mean, let's be realistic about it.
Right. I mean, give your money to some other government that's going to at least give a shit about its people. I will tell you the one area that I've been able to take some solace, some confidence. We have a group of young people out there, and I'm going to include Hefe's kids, your kids, Jazz, who you know is one of our good friends' kid. These young people that are growing up in a world where literally the apocalypse is happening, right? And I mean that in the literal sense, that apocalypse meaning the unveiling, right? The sheets come down and you get to see the truth of everything. These kids are growing up in that world. And so going forward, those of them who not just survive, but those of them who thrive are going to put truth and honesty paramount. I hope. That's my hope, is that they say, my parents and my grandparents, and especially my great-grandparents, fucked us so hard because they wouldn't tell the truth, because they lied, they covered, they diverged from the truth. We are only going to tell the truth from here on out. And I have to fight for that. I have to believe in that. I have to know that that's where we're going, because otherwise, I mean, if more of the same is what happens later down the road, I don't want to be a part of any of that. I don't want to fight for anybody. I don't want to leave any sort of legacy. I just want it all to burn. But if we have good kids, good young people who are out there saying, no, the truth is first, and then everything else we'll deal with, then I'm in. I'll fight to the death. I will absolutely fight to the death for that. So that's where I take heart. That's why I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning. That's why I'm going to go to this new job and help shape America's youth. That's what I'm doing it for. And I know there's good kids out there. I know there are. And there's some good parents out there. So it's not hopeless, but we have a bumpy road ahead. A bumpy road.
I have 8 years until I retire. So let's just keep everything together for 8 more years. And...
Do it for McShane.
Oh boy, I didn't see tonight being so heavy. It got a little heavy.
It did.
I appreciate you guys sticking it out, though.
Yeah.
We are going to do a little after party here, which is going to be our first after party for our Patreon.
Hey, and I'm gonna go deeper into the sun and the issues that we've been encountering the past few days in the after show. But for those of you who aren't going to do the after show, that's okay. You can still go on our show notes and look for the link. That link will take you to a YouTube page Let's
talk about it now. Let's talk about it now.
Well, okay. Well, I just all I want to say is there is an absolute doctorate level wealth of information on this page. This is Suspicious Observers. This is Ben Davidson, who I talked about on the show a lot. I follow him on YouTube, on Twitter. I mean, anywhere I can find the guy, I'm following him. He's very, very smart guy, very knowledgeable, and knows a lot about a lot. And what I love about him is that he's tying together things. What's amazing, he put out a video actually a couple days ago, and he said, here's the way it goes. He said, the Suspicious Observers will put out a video and a conjecture about something that's happening with space news or the Earth or climate change or whatever. And then the scientific community will just poo-poo it and try and discredit us. And you guys are a bunch of idiots. And then anywhere from 2 to 3 years later, what do you know? The scientific community comes around and they go, actually, this is what's happening. These things, they don't ever say the Suspicious Observers were right. They just come out with their own version of what he was saying 3 years ago. And I can easily quote 6 times that's happened since I've been following him in the last, 5 years. So the guy, I mean, he's not infallible. He's a human, but he's never wrong. He gets the shit nailed. He knows what he's talking about. He knows
sounds
how
like Whiskey Hell.
Yeah, very strangely. Like Whiskey Hell. And it's why I depend on him. I mean, I'm not stupid. And if he kept being wrong, I'd be like, fuck this guy, I'm out. He just isn't wrong, guys. So if you want a great follow, if you want to kind of know how the sun and space affects our climate and our living conditions and where we're kind of heading in the next 5 to 10 years, please go to YouTube, look up his channel, subscribe. Check out his morning videos, but also he's put out some longer, like 1.5 to 2 hour long videos on what's happening, what's going on. And he's so clear and concise. So please check him out. I'm going to talk more about where we are currently in the after show, but we're in the 5.9 month solar uptick. And boy, has the sun in the last 2 days, it has been like, hey, hold my beer, watch this shit. Some crazy stuff's been happening. So anyway, I just, that's my plug. Ben, keep doing what you're doing, dude. He and I have had a couple conversations on Twitter. He gets what we're doing. I don't think he probably has ever listened to the show, but he gets that we get what he's doing. So it's a nice little connection there. So anyway, go out, check out his videos. He's amazing.
Does he have a subscription on Twitter?
Not yet. I don't think he does. Not yet.
That's interesting. He should do that.
He should. Most of his income, he started Observer Ranch, somewhere in Colorado, somewhere south of Colorado Springs, I believe. And a lot of people have donated to that. And if you donate, you get he bought this huge plot of land, and they're building a whole, basically prepper community, a survival community for what he believes is going to be the next big sort of Noah event, Noah's Ark, where not many things survive. But he's picked out a plot of land that he feels like is going to survive the next disaster.
Wasn't he saying 2040?
By 2040. He said that would be the latest. He said it could happen as early as 2030. And we can go into all that. I mean, that's such an interesting story. But either way, I mean, if you go by the timelines of the tree rings, the ice core samples, all of it, there are 6,000 year cycles, and then there are 12,000 year cycles, and the really bad ones are the 12,000 year, and we are due. We're actually overdue. It should have happened back in the 1800s if it was following the exact 12,000 year. So we're overdue here, guys, and we're seeing some evidence that it's starting to happen. So good stuff, and yay end times. I mean, aren't you lucky to be alive? Woohoo! But really scientifically well-founded stuff. It's just very interesting.
But if everybody goes out today and buys an electric vehicle, we're going to be able to fix it.
You're right. Oh my God, you're so right. That'll solve everything.
Fitz, what
Hey,
beer
yeah.
what beer are you taking to bed?
You know, I'm taking the Solar Burst. I, it is probably the best. This is going out on a limb. This is probably the best lager I've ever had. Subtle in the fruit flavoring, but it's there enough that it's not just a lager. It's not just a, hey, I'm gonna have a beer and it's gonna taste like yeast. And no, this is a beer first, but then that dragon fruit adds the complexity that I'm probably more impressed by this beer than I even hoped I would be. I was hoping it would be good, but I was expecting mediocre, and it's actually exceptional. It's really good. The only thing wrong with it is it's only a 4.9%. I would have liked a 6+, but I'm also happy with that too, because it's a nice session drinker, and I'm going to wake up tomorrow with no hangover, and that's also fun. So really, really great beer. Goldilocks just kind of missed the mark for me. Not what I was hoping or expecting. So sorry, Goldilocks. But yeah, the Solar Burst Dragon Fruit Lager was phenomenal. So how about you? What are you taking to bed?
I think it's obvious it's gonna be the Pipeworks Settle Up.
Yeah.
The barrel aged barley wine. It was not a phenomenal beer. It did get a little more complex as it warmed up. I did get more raisin notes. It got a little bit sweeter. I think the thing that kind of put me off on it though was probably the heavy carbonation.
Oh yeah.
Just a little bit too much for how I like my barley wines. It also didn't have the mouth feel. It was a very dry, carbonated. It just wasn't a great barley wine.
No one likes
a
dry mouth.
No, nobody likes a dry mouth. And maybe I wonder if that might be the name of the show.
I mean, it is a fact. Yeah.
Likes a dry mouth. All right. So we'll see if that's the show name there. But yeah, I'm definitely taking that one. The BrewDog that was upsetting. No, that was just depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for the after show, I'm gonna go get the other beer for the after show and get just absolutely blotto with you. So that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I've got a third beer picked out also. I'm hoping that people will tune in to the after show just to find out what else we're drinking, because this third beer I have planned, I'm very excited for it. So yeah, let's do that.
All right.
Excellent show tonight. Thank you all, every one of you who listened to us. I don't know how you put up with us, but I'm thankful that you do. And I truly, when I say we love everybody, we just do. We love those of you who reach out and contribute, and we love every one of you who just tune in to listen every week. You have no idea what that means to us. So thank you all. Yep. You're just fucking rad people, and let's keep building this community.
After show, we're going to talk about the Patreon. We're going to do another beer. We're going to get Hefe back on here also. I'm Steve McShane.
I'm Fitz.
We'll talk to you in a few minutes.